Hello and welcome to the Hypnosis Academy. Today I'm talking about types of persons, the way that people are. Some people that feel, some people that like to hear, some people that like to see, and how we can notice that. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So I was taught that there are three modalities that people tend to find themselves in. One is visual, and it's like a strength that people have. Some people are very visual, and so they see things. They've got great imagination. Imagination is imaging. They can create images, and they like that. And so you'll hear them when they're talking. They'll say, "You see," and "Yeah, I can see that. I like the look of that." Yeah, so they're using visual words all of the time. Those people tend to be fast talkers. They tend to talk quickly. Those people tend to lean toward you when they're talking. They tend to kind of be very interesting, but they do like distance. They like distance between the listener and so the visual people. Why? Because you have to go back to get that panoramic, to take everything in. Let the dog see the rabbit is an expression of visual people. So we like to see stuff. And I say we because I'm aware that primarily I'm a visual person. Primarily, that's one of my strengths, okay? But that doesn't mean that just because we're visual then we don't hear and we don't feel. We have all of those strengths, but you have one that kind of sits at the top of the list. Okay? Visual people, when you talk to them, you'll see the eyes are doing this, lots of upward looking up to the sides. They're they're always imaging stuff. Yeah. Then you've got auditory people. Okay. And by the way, visual people, they'll look at you, and you'll see the eyes darting about, but they'll look at you. Then you've got auditory people. Now, auditory people, they can still see stuff, but they like to hear stuff. They prefer to hear. That's their number one sensory input, hearing. So, auditory people will, when they're talking to you, they talk slightly more slowly. Not always, but they tend to talk a little bit slower than visual people. They tend, when you're talking to them, often they'll look over to one side, and the eyes will be in the middle because this is where the auditory field is. Yeah, so you'll often hear people like this, like listening to you, but not looking at you. I remember Vicky Cook. Hello, Vicky. And Vicky's primarily auditory. And when she was re-watching a video that we did together, she was saying, "Oh, damn, I wasn't looking at you, but it's because I was listening to you." Okay? And so kind of auditory people are very they're listening for the words. And they use things like, "I like the sound of that. Yeah, that's just gone click. Yeah, okay, that rings a bell." So they tend to use auditory metaphors when they're talking. Yeah, listen. Whereas visual people will say, "Look," and auditory people say, "Listen." Yeah. So there you are. So the sound is auditory people can get very stressed when there's a discordant sound. If something's not nice, they can get quite distressed about it. Okay, so you've got to be careful with sounds. That's why auditory people like music that's very flowing and very beautiful. They don't like strident music because unless it's the right time. And auditory people, from what I've noticed, tend to be they'll be still when they're listening. They're still because they want to hear everything. Whereas visual people can jump around a lot. They're quite jumpy, jumping from foot to foot, getting different perspectives, moving around. Okay. When auditory people are listening to you, you may catch them turning their head up like this. They listen maybe just with the head slightly tilted as well, like dogs when they listen. Go, yeah, that's what auditory people do. Then we've got kinesthetic people. Kinesthetic people are the feeling people. Okay. Now, the feeling place is down here. Yeah. So, kinesthetic people, when they're listening to you, often will be looking down like this. Kinesthetic people lean away from you, like this. They lean away. They look like they couldn't give a monkeys. They look a little bit overly relaxed. For me, because obviously I'm coming from a visual place, when I see, or when I used to see without understanding, auditory people, I used to think they don't care. Like they'll slouch in a chair, they'll make themselves very comfortable in a chair. Okay? They don't always look at you. They kind of sometimes are like looking down. When you talk to them, they're not quick talkers. They don't, or it's not so much that they're not quick talkers, but they're very comfortable with big gaps in the conversation. Like big quiet gaps. They've got no problem with that. It's because they're kind of ruminating on what's being said. And you'll hear that in the words that they use. They'll say things like, well, I like how that feels. That feels good. Yeah. And I'm really getting to grips with this, I really want to kind of wrap myself around that idea. So they use all these physical things when they're talking about it, because physical is everything. They also can get very close to you when they're talking to you, because they'll touch you a lot. Kinesthetic people are very touchy-feely. That's because that's their way. And we're going to come to that. That's their way of showing you that they are with you. They'll touch you. So they like a bit of, touchy-feely. I've got a good friend of mine is a principally kinesthetic person. He was a bodybuilder when he was younger, and everything was about the physical. So what happens in relationships is that visual people don't necessarily need to be touched a lot, or they certainly don't touch a lot. Visual people aren't great touchers. They kind of they want to see what's going on, and it's all action and moving around and everything. Auditory people, and visual people will show you things to show you that they love you. Look at this. Look what I've done for you. Look how beautiful this is for you. Yeah, that's how visual people show their love. Auditory people will tell you the words. They want to tell you how wonderful you are. Because that's their number one way of expressing. So they'll tell you stuff. And auditory people want to hear it. Visual people want to see it. Auditory people want to hear it. If they want to know that you love them, tell them. Tell me. Tell me the words. You just keep giving me things. Tell me. Okay? And then kinesthetic people, well, they touch you to show you that they love you. And they will touch you so if you get a visual person in a relationship with a kinesthetic person, visual people often feel mauled by their partner, like the partner's mauling them all of the time. Why? Because visual people want a bit of distance. Give me a bit of distance, let the dog see the rabbit, and kinesthetic people are going, come here, I'm going to give you a hug. Let me give you a hug. Okay? However, it's all a question of balance. And once you understand it and understand what your partner is principally, then you can play to your partner's strengths, and you can give the partner what they want. If your partner's auditory, don't buy them things. Yeah, don't keep hugging them. Tell them that you love them. If your partner's visual, do things that they can see for them. Look what I've done. Take them to places. Yeah. And if your partner's kinesthetic, put your hands on them. Touch them. They'll love it. Touch them. Smack their bottom. They'll love it. That's their way of feeling loved and making you feel loved. Okay? So what happens if you're with a kinesthetic person and you're visual? Unless they know about this, they will keep giving you their love strategy, which is to touch you up, okay? And you want something else. So what you have to do is educate your partner into understanding, so they know what you need and you know what they need, and that makes for a very happy marriage. Okay, that's all I've got to say on that matter. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.